Eyal, Benjamin Netanyahu said Israel is doing all it can to minimise civilian casualties in Gaza, but he said it had not been successful in this endeavour. But I assume the IDF would stick to its line that it's doing its very best not to inflict collateral damage on innocent civilians. But this story of two of the hostages being found dead, one a 65-year-old woman, one 19. It's very worrying, and we're not sure how they died. Do you have any indication of what happened to them?
This is part of Hamas strategy. And they, first of all, they entered the villages on October 7th. They murdered, they raped, they tortured, and the people that they took to Gaza, both the ones that were alive and the bodies that they took, we already knew that they're using them as a strategy. Part of them were murdered, and that's part of the intelligence. And also Hamas shared videos with the families, how they're torturing and murdering their own family members held in captivity. And unfortunately, this is part of Hamas' intention. They don't want to hold the civilians that they have alive. They prefer murdering it. And when they will use it as of course, based on their strategy, they will share it in the media. We already have two examples of it. And we are very worried about the over hundreds of people held right now by Hamas.
Tell us, Eyal, about this next stage that we're being told about. We're being informed that the IDF intend to sort of move south and concentrate on South Gaza. What is that all about, and when will it happen? What's going to happen in the next few days?
When Hamas opened the operation, they understood that the IDF will get in. But I think we showed, and that's part of the resilience of the Western countries, including the United States and the UK, that we are standing by Israel right now, because this is the fight against the wide hider proxy and proxies around the region of Iran, and the vision for creating an Islamic caliphate. The need and part of the operation steps getting into southern Gaza is part of the only way for preventing Hamas doing again on October 7th, which is, of course, part of the strategy, and they already declared it, that they're aiming to create a similar attack again and again. And understanding this strategy is very important, because the aiming of this operation and the target is, first of all, to eliminate the existence of Hamas in the Gaza border, and of course, in addition, bringing back the hostages alive. We know that most of the hostages right now are held in southern Gaza. So in order to make sure that we'll bring them back alive, we should get to southern Gaza. We should continue making an effort, pushing Hamas for negotiation and for releasing them. And it will take more time, but we know that it's right now successful.
Yeah, you have direct experience of combat in Gaza, heavily congested area, lots of buildings. What are some of the complexities that the IDF are facing whilst trying to take out Hamas?
I remember it less than a decade in 2014 when I was fighting with my team, entering tunnels that part of them are full of explosive, entering an area like in hospitals or other places when Hamas combat terrorists are behinding between civilians and using them. And you can just see in your eyes, this is part of the most complicated fight that any army ever had. And this is part of the way that the IDF is dealing with sending messages, with calling, with spreading over the media an announcement and an opportunity for civilians who are not involved to go back and to leave the areas. And right now, we already announced that the next step will be the southern part of Gaza. And I hope that the civilians there will do the right thing, which means leave the area. And then the IDF can target just Hamas terrorists who will stay there. We know that Hamas are preventing for many people leaving their houses, because then they don't have any human shield and they are not interested in the lives of their own people. So that's why the IDF is dealing on the same time, both with making announcements, sending the right messages. And I saw it. I saw civilians go with white flags, and you need to understand that you do not want to hurt them. But on the other hand, Hamas terrorists doing the same thing. And part-time, we even saw it during this war, using ambulances as a way to transport ammunition and terrorists in the Gaza area. That's what makes it to be so complicated. And I think that's why the wider support that we have right now in the United Kingdom, both on the Labour Party and the Conservative Party, is so important. And we work very hard to keep it, because we do believe that this is the war that starts in Gaza, and can end here in the UK if we will not prevent Hamas Islamic Caliphate vision.
Eyal Birral, thank you so much for joining us.